All right, welcome back. Last week we had we warped our looms. Now we're ready to begin weaving on the looms. The weaving is the threads that create the woven fabric, and it's called the weft. And so that's what we're going to be doing today. And we'll be using yarn. I'm going to take a yarn from my yarn scraps box, and you'll have these at your team tables, one of our jobs. You can find a yarn in here that you like. And a good rule about how long it should be is as long as your arms, if you spread your arms out. You don't want it to be too short, but you don't want it to be too long. So this is how long my arms are spread out. And if you want more of that same color, you can always start again. So now I have a color ready to weave with. I'm done with that. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to zoom in here because I want to show you how to thread the needle. We have our weaving needles, and then we have these other little tools that our teammates got. It's hard for you to see. There you go. It's called an alligator. Let me zoom in so I can show you how this works. The deal is that we have to get this yarn through the eye of the needle. That little hole in the needle is called the eye. And the yarn's very fuzzy and the hole is very small, so we need some help with that. And that's where the alligator comes in. The alligator bites the thread and then goes through the eye of the needle. So he closes his mouth. You can see the thread is there in the back of his throat. Then he goes teeth first, his top and bottom jaw. See, I'm pushing him through there. And then as I pull the alligator through the eye of the needle, he brings with it the yarn. Boop. All right. So now my needle is threaded. So that it doesn't come undone, because if I pull this, I could just pull it right out. All right. And we don't want that, because that will we'd have to keep rethreading it. I'm going to show you how to get it so it won't come out. So let me thread it again. Alligator bites the thread, goes through the eye of the needle, top and bottom jaw. Oops, try again. Pulling through. Boop. And now, so that it doesn't come unthreaded, I'm going to tie a knot here in the end. And to tie a knot, I wrap that thread around my finger, and then I need that end to come up through the center. So I slip it off and put that right there and push that up through the center and then pull. And that gives me a little knot there that acts as a bumper. So this will not come unthreaded. Now my needle's threaded and I'm ready to weave. And like we learned, weaving is a process, an over-under process. So I'm going to start here, over, under, over, under, over, under, over. And then pull my yarn through. Not all the way, but most of the way. I have a tail here. I'm going to leave that little tail, just tuck that back there. Okay, and I've got my first line woven. Now you'll remember that I have to do the opposite pattern on my next line. The yellow went over the purple right there, so on the next one I need to start off under. Under, over, under, over, under, over, under. Pull that through. Alright, and let me show you again. The yellow's going under, so next time I need to start my pattern over, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, and pull it through. One thing to keep in mind is when you pull, you don't want to pull too tightly. You don't want your, I'll show you what not to do. If I pull this, you see how that starts to bring that in? I don't want that to happen. I want my weaving to remain straight all the way down. So I'm going to loosen that back up. All right? And now, so that all those lines remain parallel, that they don't start to come in together. And then I keep going until I'm finished with this entire string. When you're ready to weave your next color, you just thread that color on your needle and continue weaving. So let me show you that. So imagine that I had finished weaving with this yellow, and I would weave more than that. I could keep weaving. But in the interest of time, let's say that that was the end of my yellow. And I would cut it off. And I can leave a little tail here, that's fine. I can trim it off later. Now I'm ready for my next color. I'll use this red from the yarn scraps box. And I just start weaving with that next color, remembering to do the opposite pattern. Did I not? So right here, the yellow went over the purple, so I'll need to start off under from this side. And it doesn't matter, you can start from this side or this side. Pull that through. Oh, it looks like this had a knot on both ends. Somebody must have used this one before. Alright, it's harder to see here, but that red is going under the purple, so I go over. And that's all there is to it. And you keep weaving, choosing whatever colors you like until your weaving is complete. Now I will say this, the quality of a weaving is determined by how tightly packed the threads are. So if I were to push these up, you can see that my weaving gets smaller, but it gets more compact, and that's going to be a higher quality weaving. So if you push those up, then your weaving will be a higher thread count. Keep going, making sure not to pull, because I don't want to have it bow in. Leave that loose and keep going. And that is all there is to it. Now say it's time to clean up, and the timer's gone off, but I still have all this red yarn. What I'm going to do is just cut the knot off that I tied. I'll throw this in the trash. I'll put my needle back in the needle package, and I'll take this extra red, wrap it around my loom, put that in my team folder, and next week I can unwrap it and then continue weaving with my red yarn. Okay guys, that's all there is to it. Enjoy!